INFJ 202, a new video course brought to you by HowExpert Press and Lindsay Rossum. In this course, those of the rarest Myers-Briggs personality type, the INFJ, will learn more about how they are wired and be able to better understand their strengths, weaknesses, gifts, limitations, and overall, the complex, compassionate, deep-feeling individuals that they are created to be. It is also a helpful tool for those who are not of the INFJ personality type, but are in close relationship with an INFJ or just want to learn more about what this unique personality type entails. So what will an individual learn in this video course? Well, INFJ 202 will explore the basics about Myers-Briggs type indicator. So essentially, what is MBTI and how is one's personality decided? What is the criteria for determining one's personality type? We'll dig into the specifics of the INFJ personality type and their characteristics. We'll look at the core tenets of an INFJ, which includes introversion, intuition, feeling, and judging. So we will get a deeper understanding of how each one of these tenets contributes to the INFJ personality as a whole and what that looks like. We'll talk about how to overcome INFJ challenges, including finding an energy balance. Since INFJs are incredibly introverted beings, we'll talk about finding a healthy balance between exerting and pouring out energy and also replenishing and gaining energy back, and how to find that sweet spot where an INFJ is investing in the places they feel passionate about, but are not becoming overly drained. We'll talk about maintaining healthy boundaries with others and what it looks like to have authentic, genuine, two-way relationships that are sustainable and healthy for both people involved. Dealing with complex emotions, as we'll find out, INFJs feel things so deeply and are incredibly sensitive, which is not a weakness because they do have the potential to lead extremely meaningful and amazing lives. And we'll talk about how INFJs can deal with the extent of those feelings, how they can carry the weight of so many of the emotions of those around them as well. And lastly, fighting against perfectionism. So many of INFJs are perfectionists, and this can really block INFJs feeling like they can contribute to the world. So we will talk through how to overcome that, how to challenge this unhealthy perfectionistic thinking and these unrealistic self-standards that INFJs often set for themselves. Overall, the main purpose of this video course is to affirm INFJs in their incredible value in the world, to let them know that they are needed, they are treasured, that we need more intentional, passionate, kind, and just overall creative and compassionate individuals, that we need those who dream and also do in the world, and that INFJs can be lifted up in the society, even though they are often misunderstood, that there is a purpose, and it all begins when they tap into how they are wired and learn more about their personality and come to accept themselves in all of their complexity. So to break down the lessons that we'll be talking about in the video course, first of all, we'll start with talking about the basic traits of the INFJ. What does it look like to be an INFJ, and walk through life as the rarest personality type. And we'll also dig into the INFJ personality paradox, or the many quirks or loopholes that often exist for those of the INFJ personality type, which can make them very hard to get to know. But just kind of unpacking what that might look like for a personality type to have so many contrasting and unique characteristics that all blend together to make this unique being. Then understanding temperament. We'll dispel some myths about introversion. There's a lot of social stigma around introverts and what it means to be introverted that are very false. Let me tell you, introverts are not necessarily shy. There's a strong difference between introversion and shyness. And we will define all of that, as well as look at the differences between extroverts and introverts and what that means for how each type of individual gains their energy and draws their energy from. We'll discuss how INFJs can thrive in an extroverted society. So in a world that's always talking and constantly moving and going, how can such gentle, reserved, oftentimes quiet beings, how can they rise up as leaders? We'll get into that. And lastly, going back to the energy balance, how INFJs can preserve their energy and find that balance between giving and not becoming entirely drained. Lesson 3 covers intuition, or the N portion of the INFJ, defining intuition as a sixth sense, a kind of just knowing that doesn't necessarily make sense, that an INFJ can just pick up on things that aren't even verbally expressed. And as well as the INFJ's desire for authentic relationships, how that all ties in with the core of who an INFJ is, just wanting to know people deeply and to be deeply known, and how that contributes into how the INFJ wants to offer to the world, the way that they want to share their experiences and the perspectives that they have found, whether it's through writing, through art, through music, in whatever way they have to offer and share their newfound just perspectives and understanding on the world. Lesson 4 will dive into what it means to live as a feeler, to be truly and deeply empathetic, to act as an emotional sponge, or literally soaking up and absorbing the emotions of those around us, which an INFJ often does, as well as talking about the HSP, or the highly sensitive person, and what that can look like when that overlaps with the INFJ personality type, and how that can contribute to being highly sensitive to the stimuli that's around us, and how to manage that, how to see sensitivity as a strength and not as a weakness, and how to manage that in a healthy way. The need for structure is discussing essentially the INFJ's preference for order and having a structured routine. INFJs are dreamers that do. Not only do INFJs emphasize their creative ideas and goals and thinking about all the changes that they want to make in the world, they do. They get things done. They meet their goals and take action and set themselves goals and follow through with them. So we'll tie in all of that together, as well as just helping INFJs to become okay with the gray area and then certain uncertainties of life, and breaking out of their rigid mindsets in order to come into a healthier balance and way of being. We will also navigate through some challenges that an INFJ often faces in their journeys, what it looks like to maintain healthy boundaries with others, combating perfectionism, which is discussed several times throughout the video course, carrying deep feelings, and just the overall feeling of being misunderstood that is all too familiar to an INFJ. The video course ends off with exploring what it looks like to thrive as an INFJ, to live out a life of purpose, of meaning, of pouring into others and finding a circle of those who can understand us, and ultimately shaking the world in a gentle way, but a very meaningful and important way. Some frequently asked questions, some things that INFJs may be thinking about that will be answered in this video course. Why do I feel so different as an INFJ? We'll explore that, what it looks like to wonder, like this panda, if one really fits in anywhere, why they might feel unable to connect with others or like they don't quite belong in this world. We'll get into that, as well as how can I prevent myself from becoming drained as an introvert. I feel like this is a question of many introverts. I'm so passionate and am involved in a lot of things and want to keep giving more and more to people and to projects, but I just feel so energy drained. I feel like I don't have to, and yeah, this video course will offer tips to work through that, to figure out how to prioritize and ultimately best manage one's energy so an INFJ feels appropriately stimulated but not overly so, to the point that it is damaging to them and their well-being. How do I deal with feeling everything so deeply? Man, if only there was an easy answer to that, but we will dive into what it looks like to walk through life as a deep feeler, as an empath, as an HSP, a highly sensitive person, as many INFJs are. And yeah, we'll talk about that. How do we stay with our feelings without running from them? What can we do in order to lift off some of that burden, as well as seeing our sensitivity as not a burden, but something positive that we can tap into. Next, is there any way to overcome my perfectionistic tendencies? That is discussed several times throughout the course. How can an INFJ who tends to be very perfectionistic, how can they come to find a middle ground, to be okay with what is left uncertain and messy and is not tied up with a bow, the things that are difficult and that gray area? We'll talk about that, as well as just challenging that black or white thinking around perfectionism that prevents the INFJ from offering all that they have to the world. And lastly, what is the best way to maintain healthy, authentic relationships with others? One of the beautiful things about Myers-Briggs is that it provides such an avenue for individuals to not only understand themselves better, but also those around them and their relationships with others. So we will explore that as well, how an INFJ can find sustainable, healthy relationships and nurture those in a way that is fulfilling to both parties, and a way that INFJs can pour into relationships, but also feel that reciprocated. So all of this will be explored and more in the video course. So I know you all don't want to miss out on that, on finding some new perspective on all of these topics, all of these questions that many INFJs are probably navigating and struggling with. Just a little bit about me. I am very much so a textbook INFJ. Once I found out I was an INFJ, I was a sophomore in college, and it really changed my life. It sounds cheesy, but everything in that moment just really clicked with me. I began reading more about what an INFJ is, and everything resonated with me, and it all just started to make sense, why things had been the way that they were in my childhood and growing up through my teenage years, and just how much my personality has shaped who I am today. Ever since then, I've been very passionate about sharing knowledge about the INFJ life and affirming INFJs as well as introverts in general to rise up, to know that they are valuable and needed in this world, that they are misunderstood many times, but INFJs have such a unique perspective and lens into the world and have so much to offer and contribute. I work as a recovery support specialist. I have walked through many seasons of struggles with various mental disorders, and am currently using those experiences to bring hope and encouragement through my story to the clients that I work with. And in my free time, I really enjoy pop punk music. I like going to concerts as well as baking. I'm always in the kitchen whipping up some treats. spending time with my rabbit. You can see my black rabbit named Lily is pictured with me. And scrapbooking, really any creative pursuit. I love pictures, I love reading, writing, all of that. I've been very much a creative type for my entire life. So that's just a little bit about me, and I really hope that you all will check out INFJ 202, the video course. You can click on the link below to purchase the video course, and we'll see you on the inside. Thanks so much. Take care.